an amazing speaker with us today, Joyce Layman. If you didn't already know, she was the 2013 TEDxUMKC presenter. She also is an author. We have her books in back, available for sale. Just Another Leap. She is an author, national speaker, trainer, and she says her job is to get people out of their comfort zone. I think Sarah already took you there a little bit. So let's take it an extra step here and welcome Joyce Layman.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm not going to make you dance, but I am going to make you do some other stuff. I'm just saying. So change your thoughts and you can change your life is a pretty powerful line. If you saw that as the title of my talk, and I've only got a half an hour, and I'm typically used to doing 60 to 90 minute keynotes, and I get to spend days sometimes with leadership teams and companies. And even though it's the companies that hire me, everything I do goes down to the individual level. So if you want to improve your golf game, these concepts can help. If you want to help your children get better grades, what I'm going to share today can help. If you want to improve your relationship, these concepts can help. Now, as you're looking at me right now, you're probably thinking, wow, she's a keynote speaker, she seems really confident, and maybe I'm just not that comfortable. Well, I'll tell you what, you might find it hard to believe, but public speaking was my second biggest fear. Heights was my biggest fear, but public speaking, my second biggest. And that all changed for me back in 2006. And I had started leading a team, and it was in the health and wellness industry, and so part of my job was to go out to events, and I got to introduce myself to a lot of people in the community, and I had a woman, and she said, tell me what you do, and I said, well, I talk on health and wellness. She said, that's fantastic. I work for a corporate wellness program, so we deliver programs to companies all over the city. Do you have a video you can send me? And I said, absolutely. I left the program that day. I called my team and I said, I have a problem. I wasn't the speaker, I introduced speakers. If you put a microphone in my hand, I would literally shake. But I had a challenge on my hands. So what I did is I got my team together, I was able to step in for a small program, I created a PowerPoint, and if you've ever seen somebody read PowerPoint slides for an hour, that's exactly what I did. I sent the video in, and I was absolutely shocked when they hired me. Because clearly they weren't looking for a keynote speaker, they were looking for a trainer. Well, as it always seems to happen in my life, those serendipitous opportunities, and there was a guy who came to town, and his name was Darren LaCroix. And Darren won the 2001 International Speech Competition for Toastmasters. And I just happened to sit by David for this morning's program, and he was familiar with Darren. So if you haven't heard of Toastmasters, to win that competition, that means he beat over 25,000 people from 14 countries. That is a big deal. So Darren, when I met him, he goes, you're a speaker? And I said, yes. And he said, do you have a video? And I said, yes. I sent him the video. We talked about a week later, and he said, do you want the varnished or unvarnished truth? I said, give it to me unvarnished. He said, you suck. So doing what anybody would have done after, being humiliated, I hired him. Well, the other thing Darren had to his advantage is he was also a stand-up comedian, because goodness knows I needed funny. Well, the first thing Darren had me do, and keep in mind the time frame, this was November of 2006, he had me join Toastmasters, because I needed skills. I had absolutely no skills with speaking, and that's what it was designed to do. The second thing is he said, you're going to enter the International Speech Competition in 2007. I had 90 days to deliver 6 talks, 7 minutes each, in different clubs and different venues to even qualify to enter the International Speech Competition. Now think about this. I'm absolutely terrified of speaking. Now I have to create talks and I have to deliver them to all these strangers who I don't know for the possibility of entering a competition. Well, thank goodness I'd gone through a program back in 2005. It was from the Pacific Institute, and it was based in cognitive psychology and social learning theory. So it helped me understand that the greatest obstacle I had was the 4 inches between my ears. This program's been used by over 6 million people globally for over 40 years. Everything from military intelligence, 60% of the Fortune 500. It's used in the criminal justice system, in the school system. In fact, Pete Carroll, when he took over USC, used it with his players, and when he took over the Seahawks, and you can see how well he's done with his time there. Once again, it's about mentally playing to your potential. Well, I entered the competition. I actually made it 4 out of 6 levels my first time out, which put me in the top 1,500 speakers in the state of Kansas and Missouri. Not bad for somebody who was terrified of speaking. And I will tell you, I still have butterflies. I want to have butterflies. I just teach them how to fly in formation. That's the whole point. And Helen was asking me today, she's like, so what are you going to talk about? And I will be honest with you, I did not prepare this. Because I know that the people that have gone up here and spoken, and I heard about Julie's talk, I saw it on Facebook, it's about sharing from your heart. And I didn't want to come in over-prepared, because I wanted you to know a little bit about my story and where I've come from. And if you watch my TEDx talk, there's a big part of my story. If you read my book, there's a part of my story. And if you follow me on Facebook, I put a lot of my story out there. And that's the great thing, because as a speaker, you've got to be vulnerable. I will tell you, I am so far from perfect, but I work on it every single day. I don't know that I qualify for sexy bitch. That one's already taken. But so one of the things that I have found, and I mentioned the 4 inches between your ears, it's understanding this mental chatter that we have every single day that either gets us where we want to go or it keeps us stuck. And that's the exercise that I want to take you through. Because when I found out over 95% of what we do is controlled by our subconscious, I was kind of blown away. So let me do this with you first. And everybody put your arms up in the air. Careful not to whack the person sitting next to you or dump coffee or do anything like that. We don't want any spillage. Okay, cross your arms over your chest. Look down and see if you've got your right arm over your left or your left arm over your right. Got it? Okay. Uncross your arms, careful, no whacking. This time cross them with the opposite arm on top. T is having some issues. It's just between you and I. How's it feel? Do you want to uncross your arms? Yes! Okay, uncross your arms. So the first time you did it, subconscious habit. It's get your car, you drive from point A to point B, you get there safely, you forget the drive. It's your golf swing. Who plays golf? Golfers? Yeah. Your golf swing is habituated. Next time you're out on a golf course, ask your buddy on the backswing if they inhale or exhale on their backswing. It'll stop them in their tracks because it's habituated. It's how we put our makeup on. Ladies, guys, it's how you shave. It's how you sit down at your desk. In companies, it's called culture. We get on this automatic pilot, and we don't become aware of what we're doing. And sometimes it serves us, and sometimes it doesn't. So the first thing I will tell you is it's about becoming aware and more mindful. And I'm actually creating an audio program that's going to be free. In fact, I'm recording it next week, and it's on mindfulness and visualization. So if you're familiar with mindfulness, it's about becoming very aware, but then the visualization is about taking that leap. Because sometimes there's changes you want to make, and goodness knows I've gone through a lot of them in my own life. But it's getting from this is where I am, and I call it there to here. So I'm there, and I see this, and it's like, well, that sounds like a good idea, but it's like crossing your arms the other way, and your subconscious literally tries to pull you back to what's comfortable and what it knows. So how you get from there to here is all about what you're saying, because you've got over 50,000 thoughts a day. 50,000. Now, the most common asked question is, do men have the same number of thoughts as women? We just tend to vocalize ours more. So here's the thing. I want to take you through an exercise. Where am I at on time? I'm good?
You're good.
All right. Everybody, you're going to turn to, you're just going to pair up. So find somebody who's sitting next to you. If there's an odd person out, you might make some new friends in this exercise. That's okay. It's a fun bunch, welcoming bunch. I've seen it. We've all danced together. My goodness. Does everybody have a pair? And if not, you may have to bring in a trio. All right. So I'm going to give you Instructions, and I want you to follow them clearly. And this is where I am intentionally pushing you out of your comfort zone, and trust me, there is a reason behind this. And it's more fun when everybody gets to do it standing up, because I get to see body language, so I'll just pay attention to who's laughing. All right. Pick A and B. So you paired up, who's A and who's B? Decide. Got it? Okay. Partner A. When I say go, you're going to share a goal that you're working on. This can be a personal goal. You know, we just got through January. Maybe it's something to do with your health. It could be a project you're trying to get done at the house, whatever that is. Or maybe it's a work goal. So partner A, you're going to tell them, this is my goal, and you've only got 60 seconds. This is what it is. This is why I want to do it. You know, this is everything. I'm excited about it. So share with partner B. When I say switch, and I will be yelling because it's going to get really loud in here in a minute, then partner B, you're going to share with partner A your goal. Is everybody clear on that? Everybody's clear? All right, and Helen, you got a timer on this? You got a stopwatch? Hang on, give us a minute. You have a whole minute for partner A. You're going to tell partner B and give them as much detail, what it is, why you want it, how hard you're working on it, what steps you've taken, all of this stuff. Get into the why it's exciting you. Okay? Are you ready?
Yep. Go.
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 Partner's trying to accomplish? Yes. Are they excited about it? Yes. Are you excited about it?
Yes.
Okay. Who plays sports or who currently plays sports? Did you ever play a sport? Played? Did you ever trash talk your opponent? Okay, here's your second set of instructions. When I say go, partner A, you are going to trash talk partner B. You are going to tell them how hard it is, why they're not going to accomplish it, whatever information you got. I want you to tell them how hard and how poorly they're going to do and how badly they're going to fail. But don't worry, partner B, because you're going to have 60 seconds. You got 60 seconds to come back. Is everybody clear? This is, and I said I'm going to make you uncomfortable. There's a reason, so just buckle up and go. Okay, everybody come back. Everybody come back. Now it's hard because typically when I have people doing this standing up, I get to see all their body language. Was this uncomfortable? Could anybody not do it? You struggled? I have a few people. Did anybody just like go in for the kill? I spoke at a conference in Wichita last spring, and I was just like waiting for the lightning between these two girls. I mean, they were going, but they were friends. You know, and isn't that the case? Friends always know so much about each other. Okay, so I would love to get a couple of people to play along and share what the goal was and then what you heard. So, any volunteers, or do I just need to call? I'm going after you two right here. They're like, do we want it, do we want it, do we want it? Hang on. Okay. And you, Veronica? Okay. So, Veronica, what was Dave's goal?
Well, he's been kind of getting more involved in Oasis, and he's been posting every week about like fitness goals, kind of getting people excited about them, and he wants to do that with more consistency and more interesting topics.
Okay. So, Dave, what did Veronica tell you about your goal?
She told me I won't be consistent and I can't keep up with it, and it made me cry.
She was mean. Okay, so what was Veronica's goal?
She wants to do more yoga and do it every day or as frequently as she can.
Okay, and it's okay, you're among friends.
He said that our schedules are so busy that I'm not going to have time after work because I got to make dinner and then reschedule myself a lot, and that.
You should make dinner.
Then he said, he's not allowed in the kitchen. He does dishes. That's what he gets to do. And he said I was too fat.
I know. Once again, there is a reason. Okay, you better kiss and hug or do something to make it. See, Lightning is like, wow, wow. Anybody else want to share? Oh, I have hands going up in the back. Okay. Am I good?
Come on up.
Oh, we got that. Or I can use mine.
Okay. Over here.
If you want to go over here. Because this is, when they're volunteering, this has to be really good. Okay. So, what was Sam's goal?
Quit dipping.
Chewing tobacco.
I'm an ex-smoker, I get that. Okay. And is it Lyra?
Lyria.
Lyria, what a gorgeous name. Okay, so what did Lyria tell you?
She said it was. She said I wasn't going to do it. She said it's too incorporated into my life and everything that I do, and that the fear of cancer is not a big enough fear for me to quit, and that I won't quit, and that it's just going to get worse. She was a lot meaner about it too.
Of course she was. Did you know?
Cut you off at the knee. I said some bad words.
Go out and dip.
No, she won't let me do it here, but the minute we walk outside, I'm going to throw it at her.
Okay, so what's Lyria's goal?
To make it to the conference tournament. She's a college track and field participant.
Ooh, big luck. Okay, excuse me, I'm standing here. So what did Sam say?
He said I won't make it because I'm standing in the way of myself, and that if I really wanted it, that I would work harder, but I don't work hard enough, so.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ow! Oh, it's not exactly what he said.
I said if she doesn't make it.
If she doesn't make
If
it.
she doesn't make it.
Okay.
It's completely on her. It's an individual sport.
So you don't know each other really well, right?
Pretty well.
How about you're married?
All right, well, thank you. Thank you. So here's my question. Did anything you said to the other person, and you can go ahead and sit down and that's okay. There we go, get me over here. So did anything you say to the other person or anything they said to you was ever something that you said to yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Once again, it goes to over 95% of what we do is controlled by the subconscious. You've got 50,000 thoughts a day. Your mind, your subconscious is like a giant Google search engine. So it also records, literally, it's a servo mechanism, everything that you say. It takes it literally and goes, yep, that's it. So you want to know why it's hard to change habits, and it isn't 21 days, it's actually 67, from the research that I found, is you go to make change, and then your subconscious goes, and it puts you back in the crossing arms the other way, and it feels weird, and then suddenly there's little excuses, something comes up, I don't have enough time, that feels weird, you say you're trying to lose weight, and the donuts show up. At the office, it happens. Because the other thing too is the minute you start changing what you're saying and your behavior, you push comfort zones of people around you. And whether it's, they don't realize it. People aren't doing it to be mean, it just happens. The other thing, and this is not one to stick on here, so I'm going to try and do this and we'll see how it goes. The other thing is it's comments that we say that we don't think are a big deal, but they're really a big deal. For example, this was 5 years ago at Christmas time. Everybody's hanging out in the kitchen at my brother's house. My nephew and his wife walk in, and they've got Reese, and she's about 2 years old, and she walks in, and her eyes get this big, and she looks at everybody, and she buries her face right in Cindy's legs. And Cindy goes, she's always shy for the first 15 minutes when she walks in the room. So I bent down next to her, and I said, no, you're not. You're brave. And she went, you know, buried her legs again. But what was she doing 15 minutes later, moms? She's playing, she's cruising around. But it's these little things that we say that we don't realize. I used to be an always late. And I would tell myself all the time that I was always late. You know how I am, I'm always late. In fact, I was so late, my friends would tell me to show up a half an hour early. That way I get there on time. That's how late I was. Now I'm consistently early. I didn't go to always early, but I am consistently early. I was really early today. But these are things that we say that we don't realize impact what we're trying to do. For me, when I was getting ready for my Toastmasters speech, I had to go to the space to envision so I could actually take a picture so I could visualize. And I visualized everything that I was doing and what was coming out of my mouth. When you're playing sports, you visualize yourself before you get in that event because it actually changes what's going on in your body. You can use visualization for just about anything that you're wanting to get yourself comfortable with that. But more importantly, pay attention to your self-talk. Because you're either going to get to where you want to be or you're going to hold yourself back. And it isn't necessarily negative. This is where everybody goes, oh, it's not about being Pollyannish and everything's great. You know what? Life isn't always great. I lost my dad in 2006. He was 81. My mother in 2008. She was 83. And my horse in a barn fire on Christmas night 2 years ago. I had my mare 22 years. I won a national championship. That girl got me through the best and worst of my life. So I've been through stuff. And I'll tell you, 5 days after that happened, I had to go, actually 6 days, I had to go deliver a keynote. Actually, it was, I'm sorry, the 3rd. I'm thinking January 3rd, I had to pull my act together and go deliver a keynote. Now, trauma, I have found out, has an odd way of affecting you. Because when I lost my dad, we knew, we had an inkling it was coming with my mother. She had dementia. It was a blessing. When something's taken away from you like that, you don't always have a chance to mentally prepare. But I had to go deliver a keynote, and when I woke up the next day after the fire, I was doing this. My body was shaking, and I called Cinda because we lost 2 horses. The barn was gone. There was nothing left. And I'm talking to Cinda going, you know, are you okay? She's like, I'm shaking too. It's the trauma. I ended up with PTS. It wasn't any delay. It was immediate. I'd see a fire truck or a police car, and I would have a panic attack. But I had to go deliver a keynote. Same thing happened when, you know, with my parents. There were times where I'd get a call, my mom had just fallen, and all I wanted to do was go to the nursing home, and I had to pull my act together and go perform and work with a client because that's what I had to do. So part of it is the self-talk. Now this is where I'm going to say everybody's entitled to have a pity party. You just don't stay long and you don't invite anybody. Those are the rules. You don't stay long and you don't invite anybody. But it goes to, we have positive, we have negative, and we have limited self-talk. When stuff happens, you acknowledge what happens, you go through the grief process, you get an amazing group of people around you, just like you have today, because that's what gets you through. And Julie, you had to do that for your experience as well. But also think about, what are you saying to other people in your life? What are you saying to your children? If you want them to clean up their room, stop telling them how bad they are at cleaning up their room. If you have somebody in your office and you know, oh, you know how they are, they're always negative, well, guess what? People live up to your expectations. So try shifting just for a minute that they might be able to change. And then also pay attention to what you're saying, because it isn't necessarily that. Sometimes it shows up in body language too. The self-talk is incredibly powerful, truly. You want to help as you're preparing for your track meet? Think about what you're saying. What's going through your head. Is this easy? Is this hard? I had a friend of mine that she'll tell you she went from she was 70 pounds overweight. She's in my book. She now runs marathons. She just did the Disney Marathon. Mindy Hager. Mindy's phenomenal. And she said part of it was I had to walk a mile, and then I had to walk another mile, and I had to walk another mile. The woman runs marathons. I only run when people are chasing me. She's amazing. But here's, and this is the last tidbit I'm going to leave you with because I think I'm about at time. It's like I said, you have the awareness. What are you saying? What are you thinking? What's going on? Is it serving you or not? If it's serving you, great, don't change it. But if you want to get to there, you know, we always have another there, and then you want to go here again, then it's that take the leap. And it's just like I did when I was speaking. I didn't have a clue. I had to get the right people in. Darren and I had to hire to coach me. Goodness knows I needed that. And I still have coaches that help me. But it's that mental hurdle, and now I intentionally throw myself out of my comfort zone. I mean, goodness gracious, to speak at TEDx, that's the talk of a lifetime. That was phenomenal. But it was also, once again, the mental preparation that went into it. And I had to recognize what was good, what was bad, what I needed to change. And then it's taking these leaps. But too often, if we set this big goal that's way out here, and we keep focusing on that, we'll talk ourselves out of it. So look to where you want to go. Know what that goal is that you shared, and turn to the person next to you and say, you rock, forget everything I said. Do it right now. You rock. Then that's when you can talk yourself out of it. That's when it feels really awkward. That's when it feels like you're crossing the arms the other way. The goal, you know where you're going, but then you back up and you go here, and then you take another little leap and you go here. Leaps don't have to be massive. They can be this big. What did you accomplish today? You get to the end of the day and you go, what was the best thing that happened and what am I looking forward to tomorrow? You track your wins. You help your kids see what their wins are. You help the people in your office see what their wins are. Focus on what's good and what's right. Because the more you focus on the negative, it blows up. And goodness knows we have enough of that in the media. That's all I'm going to say on that. But it's just little leap, little leap, little leap. And you look up every once in a while, you're like, yep. And if you need to adjust a little bit, that's okay too. Because life isn't always a straight line. But look at where that goal is, and then focus here, focus here, focus here. Pay attention to your self-talk. And believe me, if you knew the rest of my story, if I can do this, you can do this. So, thank you.